Hey, Queen. Girl, you have done it again, constantly raising the bar for all of us and doing it with such grace and power.
Watching you embrace each moment and defining success on your own terms is truly inspiring. You are creating a legacy, and I am so incredibly proud of you. Your voice is powerful, and you wield it with such purpose, lifting others up with every word. You always deliver.
You might not hear it every day, but people are watching and they're inspired by you in more ways than you can imagine.
Let's continue to honor the legacy of those who came before us by continuing to shine our light unapologetically.
Keep trusting your instincts and listening to that strong, guiding spirit within you.
And remember to give yourself grace. I believe in you.
And always remember,
You are 100% that queen.
Welcome to Black Trauma with Men's Empire. I'm your host, Men's Empire, and in today's episode, I'll be sharing the personal lessons I've learned through my divorce. I will share with you my accountability process or journey for my part in the process and in the whole palaver and the healing that's still going on as we speak. If you are going through a similar journey or just seeking inspiration on how to navigate through times, through tough times with resilience, this episode is for you. Stay tuned as I dive into a very honest and a very raw conversation about growth, self-reflection, and moving forward. Let me breathe in. Divorce can be it can feel like a storm that disrupts everything, It is very tough. There is no sugarcoating it. But it can also be a powerful opportunity for reflection and transformation. So what I want to focus on today is how I learned to hold myself accountable throughout the entire process, from the time it happened, the confession, and now. Accountability, in my experience, isn't just about pointing fingers at what went wrong, but also taking a hard look at my part and what I could have done differently. When my marriage ended, I initially found it easy to blame the situation entirely on my husband, on my sister, on my ex-best friend, on my cousin. I mean, it's human nature, right? We want to protect ourselves and validate our feelings of hurt and betrayal. But over time, I realized that accountability wasn't just about accepting the blame. It was about owning my actions, my choices, my behavior, my role in the relationship, in the marriage, and all the relationships. I had to ask myself the tough questions. How did I contribute to the breakdown of them relationships? Did I truly listen to these people? Was I honest about their needs, about me, about how I showed up in their lives? What did I ignore? And why did I do that? The self-reflection was uncomfortable, to say the least. But it was necessary. Without it, healing couldn't truly begin. I had to take responsibility for my side of the story because I could move, before I could move forward in any healthy way. And it wasn't easy. It was very freeing, though. This is the part that I found a bit weird, because I didn't expect it to be that freeing. In the beginning, I was filled with anger, with grief, with frustration, and that's okay, because emotions need space to breathe. But I knew that if I stayed in that emotional state, I would never heal. I had to find a way to process all the emotions without letting them control me. I learned, to find something that I could hold on to. I was leaning into therapy, leaning into journaling, leaning into onto my friends, onto my family. Those who really understood what I was going through and what I'm going through right now. Once I accepted that accountability, the next step was starting to heal now. And let me tell you, healing doesn't happen overnight, honey. It's a journey, and it takes time, it takes patience, it takes compassion, and I can guarantee you it's so hard. It is so hard. I have felt like it wasn't possible for me to get through this, and I still have that in my mind, that will I ever heal? I have self-harmed, and because I feel like if I hurt myself and I see blood, that blood I can clean it, and probably as time as I finish, the pain will be gone. But boy, it was a lie. So when it comes to navigating divorce, the process can feel so overwhelming, filled with a mix of emotions and uncertainties. But accountability and healing are two keys of, the two elements that can guide you through every challenging time. I literally embraced accountability through therapy, and I recognized that it wasn't about blame, but about owning my part in the whole mess. It's easy, to focus on my ex-husband's faults and not think about myself. But I had to reflect on my own actions and behaviors. I asked myself, these kind of questions that, allowed me to learn from my own mistakes and prevented me from carrying guilt or resentment. And by owning my part, I empowered myself to move forward, knowing that I've done the work to grow from the experience. So I understood the healing, process, and understood that this is going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. I accepted that I had suffered a loss, and it required grieving. I gave myself permission to feel sad, to feel angry, to feel relieved. Whatever emotion arised at that moment, they were all valid. The most difficult thing was to mourn the end of my marriage and the love of my life. That was still alive. It's still alive right now. Yes, I'm the one that initiated divorce, but I had to forgive myself, because forgiveness is a really critical part of healing. It is not about letting the other person off the hook or anything, or rather about, you've just let him get away with it. It's about freeing myself from the weight of anger, the weight of resentment, and holding on to bitterness only prolongs the pain. So I realized that forgiveness will allow me to release negative emotions and begin focusing on my future. This included forgiving myself for the mistakes I made, the choices I regretted. We are all human, and every relationship is a learning experience. But by practicing self-compassion and accepting that I did my best, I did the best I could at the time, and I made space for personal growth by just doing that. I had to shift my focus to the future. While reflecting on the past is very necessary, and I was wallowing, I tell you that now, but it's also important not to get stuck there. Think about the future and the possibilities ahead. Yes, divorce was painful, but it was also an opportunity to rediscover myself, to pursue passions, and to create a new chapter in my life. I had to set new goals, whether personal, professional, or having goals, it just helped me to focus on progress and possibilities. I had to reconnect with my passions, with people that I had left that made me feel whole. The emotional intensity of a marriage took time to, focus on the things that brought me joy, whether it was a hobby, a career, or whatever, or traveling. I built a supportive network. I surrounded myself with people that uplifted me, that made me feel seen and heard. But the most important part of healing, I believe, was finding forgiveness for the people involved. Forgiving myself for the mistakes I made, for the moments I could have done better, for the choices I regretted. That is the hardest part of the whole process. But I know once I'm done with this, I've already started to build something better for myself. I'm rebuilding myself, and while the pain hasn't completely gone away, I know I'm no longer defined by it. So if you are listening to this and you're in the midst of your own divorce or difficult time or a difficult relationship, here's what I want to leave you with: accountability and healing. And it's not easy. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, and it takes a lot of courage. But both are so necessary for your own growth. It's about taking ownership for your actions, creating space for yourself to heal, not just for the future, but also for your own peace of mind. Divorce and betrayal does not define me. It doesn't define me. And I'm not alone in this process. I've got power to rise from this. I've got power to grow and to move forward stronger than I ever thought I could be. Stronger than I ever thought it could be possible. This is why I created Black Trauma, because I want all these things to come out, to expose everything, because before you expose it, you can never deal with it. You can't deal with something that you have not exposed. You can't do that. So once you put it out in the open, then you can start to heal. You can start to, take accountability. You can start to really process the whole thing. So I'll start with the marriage. On its own, the marriage. I got married at 17, 18, 19. That's when we started living together, and then we went to get married, and we went to pay lobola and everything. I came to the country when I was very young. I didn't know how to be a wife. He didn't know how to be a husband. But I'm here to talk about me. I did not know how to be a wife. Everything that I did, everything that I was, I had to teach myself. And everything that my behavior, my everything, let's just say everything that I did, it was stuff that I thought was right. It was stuff that I had to remember what I saw my mom doing, and I put that into action. That's all I did. And I know that there were things that I was doing that was not helping the situation, that was difficult for him. I remember my ex-husband got addicted to gambling. And when he got addicted to gambling, I then started feeling, depression. I think that's when it kicked in. But on his side, I realized through therapy that when he started to gamble, it wasn't because he wanted to destroy. He wanted to give me everything. He really wanted to give me everything. I'm telling you, this guy, there is nothing that I asked from him that I could not have. He would give me everything I wanted. So when he started gambling, it was really to bring me that life that he thought I wanted. And I really don't want to cry in this episode because I don't want people to feel like I want you to see me as a victim. But it's really hard to accept. Kuti, all he wanted to do was to give me a good life. All he wanted was to bring me everything that I wanted. And in that process, he broke everything. He sold things. He's paid everything. I had to take control. I had to be in charge. Yes, he was in charge, but I was more in charge of everything. And then I had to be strong. I started doing fashion blogging. I started doing personal shopping. And I became too powerful for him. I now realize that the reason he went to those people, to my sister, to my cousin, to my ex-best friend, those people put him on a pedestal. And he felt like he was a man with them. With me, he felt like he was failing. He was gambling. He felt like he failed me. He felt like I could do without him. Even though I didn't realize I was doing that, I was doing it. And then he found validation from these people that were smaller than me, in a sense that they idolized him. He was craving that because he wasn't getting it from me, because I was in survival mode. I was in boss mode. And before I go on to the next one, I want to highlight this, that the person I am, or I was in that marriage, the memes that I've built right now, the confident memes. So I didn't do this by myself. He helped me all the way. I remember I was a size 4, size 6. I'm telling you, there's not even a day that my ex-husband ever said, "You're too skinny, you're unattractive, I want you to have to be curvy," or whatever. I would get people saying, "Oh Memo, you're too skinny. Oh Memo, look, you need to put on weight." But he gave me so much confidence. He gave me so much confidence. He would say, "This is what I want though. It doesn't matter what they're saying. To me, you look beautiful. So why are you caring about them?" Now, as I'm sitting here, I know that's not what he wanted. But he was building his wife. He was making me feel good. That's all he cared about. That's all he cared about. He didn't care about, what everyone thought. He wanted to give me that life. He wanted to make me feel good to Memo. You are okay as you are. You are okay as you are. Don't worry about that. You understand? So he really tried. I realized that he really tried. That's all I'm going to say. He really tried. Another thing was, when I got diagnosed with depression and anxiety, one thing I know, guys, it's not easy to be married to someone with a mental illness. It's really difficult. The mood swings. I remember there was a time, I think we went more than a year without really sleeping together, without being intimate. And it wasn't because I was cheating or anything. I was just broken. I was just depressed. I was deeply depressed. And I remember him just saying, "Mama, I just want to lie next to you. I just want to hold you. That's all I want to do. It doesn't matter. Just let me hold you." But when you're depressed, you don't want anything to do with anyone. You just want to be left alone. But because at that time there was no help, I didn't have insight of what depression was. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know how to go and find help or anything. It was just like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you to touch me. Leave me alone. That was it. He didn't know. And I believe that with the gambling, he was also going through depression, because the anxiety of being able to provide for your wife that's beautiful, that wants to dress well, that wants to look good and everything, he was forced to go gambling. He is a man, he did it. He probably didn't know what was happening with him. I didn't know what was happening with him. It's only now I realized that my husband was depressed. You understand? And when I was depressed, he took care of me. He really did. And he would cook for me. He would do everything, school run. He would be all over the place. He would be doing it for me. My moods would be up and down, up and down. I was not even on medication. I was just, do you know what I mean? It was really difficult, but he did it. That was straining the marriage as well. But one thing I know for a fact, we had no one. It was just the two of us. And if I say it was just the two of us, I mean it was just the two of us. It then changed when I then started having friends that were coming into my house. I had friends, like I have friends that I've been friends with more than 20 years. But we never used to be, like my best friend has always lived in Barcelona at that time. You know, my friend from the time I came to the UK, she's always lived all the way like 35 minutes away from me. So we never had the time to be like, I'm in her house constantly, she's in my house constantly. We had our husbands knew each other. We had their numbers, they had each other's numbers. But there was never a time that I called her husband and spoke to her husband or cooked for them, or no. It was just talking, the two of us, and say what is that now and whatever, and then that's it. It was a healthy friendship like that. We knew our own boundaries. It then changed when I started having friends like my ex-best friend. She would come after school and she'll be here up to until another school run. She literally lived in my pocket and I lived in her pocket. But what I did not realize was, first of all, she was young. Two, she was having issues in her marriage. That marriage was not peaceful. It was a marriage, you know, those marriages that everyone just goes and sleeps with anyone. They just cheat on each other. Bam, 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 bam. That's all they do in that household. Already, that was a red flag. I should have stopped that friendship altogether, but I didn't. I loved her for who she was. I was very naive, and I let that toxicity into my house. And she saw what my husband was doing for me. And she wanted that because her husband was doing none of that for her. And I had all my blinkers on. I did not even see nothing. I should have stopped it there and there. From the time that they swapped numbers, I should have said, nah, done, nah. From the time she shared that her husband cheats on her, her husband beats her up, they did this and this, I should have stopped going too close to that person. But I did. And that's up to me. I brought that imbecile into my house. I brought that toxicity into my marriage. And that's me. I did that. My ex-husband did not go to look for my best friend. I brought her into my place. And then when it comes to my cousin, the moment that she came to UK, she knew who I was. I didn't, because I left Zimbabwe early. She was young. She's younger than me. I didn't know who she was. Guys, if I tell you that my cousin would order stuff from from me, from my business, she would comment on my photos She would talk to me in my DM, but never once told me she was my cousin. It was up. It was me now. I'm now looking. I'm thinking, Mawita, Mawita, and then I had to ask her, what kind of Mawita are you? Which side of Mawita are you? And then she tells me, oh, I'm from Kadoma, and I'm like, Kadoma. And then I took the picture, a screenshot of her picture, and I sent to my brother and my sister, and they're telling me, yeah, that's your cousin, Dad's brother's daughter. I could not believe it. But at that time, this is how stupid I can be sometimes. It did not ring red flags at all. I just thought, oh, maybe she was scared to approach me and whatever. But that should have been a red flag on its own to think. Why didn't she come to me and say, Sissy, I'm your sister. I am, because they're proper. She's like my sister. She's my sister. Do you understand? Our fathers are brothers. Like, there's no faking it. Do you understand what I mean? Why not tell me I'm your little sister and I'm here in UK? It was only when I approached her, that's when she started befriending me and we started getting close. Because I had no family here, I really embraced her. I was so excited. Good, at least I have a sister now. I have somebody in UK, because people that know me, they know that with my auntie and my uncle and my other cousins on the mother's side, we were not even talking. So there were abandonment issues there. There were rejection issues there. So when my sister came, my cousin came, I was like, now I found someone who is really my family, my blood from my father's side. And I'm going to do everything I can to make this relationship work. I'm going to do everything I can to be a good sister, and I would go to her house. I would tell her off when she does wrong. She would steal money from people. I would tell her off for doing that. She would scam people out. She would, everything that little sisters do, I would be embracing her and taking charge. And there's a point, I'm sure her husband thought maybe I'm the one teaching her to do all those things, but I hope he has realized that I also was a victim of her own toxicity. I did not even know. I didn't know. I was so oblivious. I was so stupid, I would say. And I embraced her and I brought her into my life, introduced her to my husband. She saw what my husband was doing for me. I'm telling you, there is nothing that I wanted from Koas Munjeri that I did not have. Anything I told him I want, I got. Like, just like that. You understand? He was my soulmate. He was my love, my husband. He was my best friend, because before we got married, we were best friends. Like, there is no one that knew me. And up to now, I don't think there's anyone that really knows me the way Koas knows me. Probably my best friend now. So these people saw that it was so authentic. Even though with the issues we had, he never went, he never left, he never done anything that made me doubt his love. Yes, when you are depressed, you feel like, oh, he's not being nice to me, he's not cooking for me, he's not looking after the kids, he doesn't believe I'm depressed and everything. But when you're really deep here, it's not easy. It's not easy being in a relationship with someone with a mental illness. It's the worst thing ever. We are difficult to love. I've just accepted that. But he did that. Do you understand? And then, so these people they saw what my husband was doing for me, and they wanted it. And they came. They saw it, because when you do things, people look for the weaknesses and they use those weaknesses to take what they want from you. So they saw the weaknesses on that side, that Memo is always depressed, he's overworking, he's doing this, he's not being given his place as a father, probably. He's not being idolized, but I did idolize, and he knows that. If he is honest with you, he knows that I did not cheat on him. I did not forsake him. I did not go to, even when I was refusing to sleep with him, even when I was depressed, I did not go and find comfort from other men. Never did I even entertain any conversation. If you ask people that know me, Ask people like Lamont, people like that know me from ages ago. I would not respond to DMs at all. I would tell you off straight away. I was a committed wife, but there was something that I wasn't doing to make him feel like he was the man of the house. So these people came in and did that for him. That's how he went. That's how he did what he did. Now when it comes to confessing, I have no idea why he confessed. He was made to believe that I was playing away and he confessed. But if I was to be asked one question, what would I change from this whole thing? I would beg him not to confess. There was no reason for you to confess. There was no reason for you to confess. You could have just left me moving on with life without knowing it's better that way. There was no reason for you to confess, because this is hell. It's a hell. Now I know I've forgiven those people. I have forgiven them. It's now forgetting that I'm trying to do. I can't seem to forget. It's the days that I just think, why? There are days that I cry myself to sleep because I feel I did not deserve such cruelty to be done to me, but it was done. And I'm very independent right now. I am very beautiful still. I am working hard to get to a point where I am happy, I am healed, I am stable mentally. And I will get there one day. It might not be today, but I will get there one day. And whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to change lives too. And going back to those people that were involved, really, it's how they maneuver this whole thing that happened. That will be the one, that will be their actions will be the ones to, to define where we go from here. And this is why I had to cut off my cousin, because I saw that there is no change there. She's still the evil person she was before. There is no change. That's who she is. Blood in everything. That's who she is. Just a horrible little girl. You understand? And then when you look at my ex-best friend, when I cut her off, that was it. I've not seen her since. I've seen her in shops and she's run away, avoided me. That's fine. I respect that more, because she knows she's done wrong. She's going to keep away from me because she knows I can go crazy. Do you understand? And then when it comes to my ex-husband, he actually hates me. If I say he hates me, I mean he hates me. He does not want to even hear my voice. He does not even want to see me. Do you understand? That one I don't even understand why. He, like, just hearing Memo's name infuriates him. He hates it. He hates it. I feel like maybe he's maneuvering his own healing process. He'll get to a point where he will forgive me for any, I don't know, whatever he's angry about. Because I'm not perfect as well. Must have done something for him to hate me like that. But what I know is he's moved on. I don't see why he hates me like that, because I didn't break this. I'm still here. I didn't break this. You confessed. You did this. You disrespected me to the core. You broke me to the core. Darling, you broke me. You are the one who did this. Why do you hate me so much? What have I done to you? I'm here looking after your kids. I'm here. My life is like done. I have no life whatsoever. I focus my life on them kids because they are not well. My daughter is 7, is non-verbal. She's autistic. She's a 1-to-1. My son is going through his is cancer treatment. I have no life. I am trying by all means to stay afloat. It's difficult. My mental health has been ruined. I am broken. I cannot do it on my own. And the best you can do is hate me and refuse to cooperate in a healthy way. I don't know how that sits well with you, but I hope one day you will remember that I only wanted the best for us. I only wanted the best for our kids, and I don't deserve doing this on my own. I don't deserve it. I have a life too, but I can't even think about bringing another man into this house and live with them with the state of my kids. So if it means I sacrifice myself to be there for my kids because you are having your life, you are building your life with somebody else's kids and somebody else, that's fine. I will never hate you. I have forgiven you. And life goes on. Right now, I just want to thank you for listening. I hope you have gained some valuable insights in your own healing process, and maybe even found a little bit of comfort in knowing that this journey doesn't have to be walked alone. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone. And you never know, they might need to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more episodes, to like, to comment, to bring your reviews. Until next time, remember that healing is possible and accountability is the first step of freedom. It is the first step to freedom. Take care.